The options are simple. Do you want to be a fortune teller? Or the Scarlet Witch? What's happening, internet? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrian, aka Foamm X Cosplay. Wandavision, the series, has finally ended, but I couldn't really leave Westview without saying goodbye. So I decided I would make both of Wanda's tiaras which she wore throughout the series. The first one being from the Halloween episode, second one being her Scarlet Witch crown. Today I'm going to go over how I made it, so sit back, relax, and let's get creative. First thing I did was to gather a buttload of reference photos, looking at the crowns from every angle, and my search really paid off. If anything, I just found a lot of memes. Having stared at said reference images while trying not to get distracted by Elizabeth Olsen's beauty, I then sketched my own templates, which involved a lot of trial and error. But if you don't want to do that yourself, I'm actually selling digital versions of these templates on Etsy. Link in the description, please do check it out. While I had to draw these images for myself, you could just print them out. I remade them digitally. So once you have the templates, just cut them out and then trace them over your craft foam. That's right, we'll be using craft foam and lots of it. Having traced the templates on to the craft foam, it's now time to cut it out. I just use scissors because it's easier to maneuver with. Definitely if you use Sintra for this, you'd have to use a cutter. No big deal, just follow the lines carefully and it'll turn out alright. If done right, you should have two sides of the first layer as well as three distinct pieces for the back layer. You'll notice the bridge portion, there should be two of the exact same piece just to reinforce the divide of the first front layer. If you glue both layers and they don't align perfectly, it's an easy fix. Just cut out the excess on the back layer. Once you have all the pieces cut out, it's then time to glue it down. I used hot glue for this. It would probably be better to use super glue or all-in-one glue, which is what I used for the other crown, so that it doesn't separate once you put it under the heat of the sun. Once you have everything glued down, you might want to flatten the crowns just to make sure all three layers are in place. And once it's good, that's when you run it over with a heat gun or a hair dryer and then just create a heat seal. I then used the heat gun to further shape and reshape the headpiece until it was the right shape, and then I sandwiched it in between three cans of paint just to make sure it holds. Now that the indoor part's done, it's time to head outside and get painting. Our first two layers will involve black rubber seal, which is a miracle worker really, because it provided the best surface I've ever seen on any of my cosplay work, and it'll prevent your pieces from getting damaged, so I prefer that now instead of primer. Once you've hit both sides twice, you can then go over it again with cherry red spray paint this time. When you spray, make sure there's no bubbles or anything. Make sure it's one flat, clear surface, and you should be fine. Leave that out to dry, and then once you come back, it should be okay. Just go over it again with one last layer of clear coat to protect the paint, keep it from cracking, and then that's the first crown down. Beautiful work. Up next is the Scarlet Witch tiara from the finale, which was a lot more work because it involved a lot more cutting. I had to be more precise with this because my templates were hand-drawn before I put them on Adobe Illustrator. The versions that I had to work with were uneven, so it took a lot more guessing and checking, but your versions should be more precise. If you get my templates, you just cut the base layer out and then cut the layer with the detailing on it. Once you have both of those cut, it's time to glue again. I used all-in-one glue for this, and it worked pretty well. Once the pieces were all cut out and glued, I ran it over with the heat gun before taking it outside to paint again with two more layers of rubber seal. This time the black was meant to be seen. And then this time I brought it inside and painted it over with Scarlet Perma Paint, which is acrylic. Try not to go over the areas meant to be black with the red paint, but if you do, don't worry. Just paint over it with some black acrylic paint and all should be well. Once you have that, take it back outside, hit it with clear coat, leave it out to dry, and then your crowns are complete. I just used hot glue to add some bit of elastic bands to all of these, and then I was done. I wasn't planning on wearing these myself. I made these pieces to sell them. It worked out. These pieces are light, flexible, well painted, and my best work so far. So I'm pretty proud with how they turned out, and I'm sure if you make your own, you'll be able to channel your inner Wanda. At least, like Wanda, you too can be capable of spontaneous creation with these crowns. And that was how I made both versions of Wanda's crown from Wandavision. If you want to support my channel, you can help me out on Patreon and Subscribestar. And until next time, peace.